Hello, coolers, and welcome back to Viva Barca. Welcome to the home of everything Barcelona, where we are going to be discussing on the latest as usual. We start with former Barca striker Thierry Henry, who suggests that manager Xavi is lucky to still be Barcelona coach. We are going to be discussing on that as we progress. Then to conclude this episode, talking about Memphis Depay, talking about the injury update for Memphis. It has been reported that the Barca striker is set to remain unavailable for Valencia encounter in the weekend. So guys, before we get right into the stories, please do ensure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Turn on the post bell notification to always stay notified whenever I post a new video. Consider liking the video and please watch right up to the very end. One of the biggest talking points in football is Barcelona's exit from the Champions League during the group stage. As Inter Milan demolished Victoria Pleasant with a 4-0 win, Barca's ambitions of making the cut in and amongst the last 16 of the competition were dead and, of course, buried. However, their departure from Europe's elite competition looked even bleaker as Bayern Munich took them to the cleaners with a 3-0 thrashing at Spotify Camp Nou. Thierry Henry, who enjoyed a fruitful spell at the Catalan side and has always expressed his admiration for the club, gave his 2 cents on his former employer's relegation to Europa League. He said, "At the end of the day, result away counts, and that's what we saw recently in England with the sacking of Steven Gerrard," he said in reaction to Barcelona's defeat to Bayern, as a pundit for CBS Sports Golazo, as relayed by Sport. The French legend said, "You are at Barca, and that's why they judge you. No time for anything. Barca has bet everything on the Champions League and needs that money." The Champions League winner also touched on the clamor around Xavi's position as manager at the club by saying that if it was any other coach in charge, the volcano would erupt. While Henry defended the Spanish Giants' measured development or improvement in La Liga, he did reiterate that something more is required. On Robert Lewandowski, being slated for his inability to rescue his team out of adversity in the Champions League, the veteran replied, "He had a great occasion in Munich, and we all know." Despite implying the fact that club were naive against Inter Milan, the decision not to hand them a penalty against the Italians is a call that will stay there. Our shock elimination from Champions League group stage have aroused a lot of talk, around the world from pundits and many football experts. And of course, here we see one of the legends of Barca, Thierry Henry, having a say on this. Of course, saying that Xavi is lucky to be Barca coach because had it been he was not a La Masia or a strongly rooted, connected man from Barca, maybe now it could have been a different thing. Like even the board could have been surely contemplating to sack. So Xavi have that strong connection, by the way. So for Henry, he thinks that if not of that, Xavi could have been more under pressure than he is currently. Of course, Xavi's job has been put under question. Many fans of Barca have been doubting Xavi a lot when it comes to his tactical display, his formations. It shows a lot of inexperience from his side. And of course, we are not happy as fans by some of his decisions at times. And some even go as far as blaming Xavi for favoritism. Of course, not everybody can see that, but to an extent, maybe. So this season now, we just have to focus on the La Liga to see if we can dominate and win. But Real Madrid are in hot form, so I don't know. It's going to be a tough one. Champions League has been a hell disaster for us. We are playing Champions League different from the way we play La Liga. We're unable to keep clean sheet up to now in the Champions League, but 9 clean sheets in 11 games in La Liga. So it's really sad the way we humiliated ourselves in the Champions League, and to an extent, we just have to move on. We have to accept that another big disappointing season in Europe once again. Since 2015, or I think since 2016, Barca have been disgracing us all in Champions League football. I don't know if it's normal, it's a curse, it's not like, I don't know. But let's just hope for the best that this team, should do well in the future to win other competitions. If we're going to the Europa, on paper, we might have the best squad, but Xavi needs to learn from his mistakes. That's just what I need. And I think if he does that, we should be able to win the Europa League, even though we have some good opponents coming there. Atletico Madrid, we have Ajax, we have Arsenal, Man United. So it's not going to be an easy thing at all. So let's see. We still have 3 trophies to play for: the Copa del Rey, La Liga, and the Europa League. So it's going to be a tough season, no doubt. But if Xavi does not change or learn from his errors, then we are bound to fail once more. But one thing that I think Laporta should not accept is for this team to go trophyless like last season. I think it will be unacceptable from all the fans, from all the staff, I think from the board members at Barca. They will not accept such. Then moving on to the next story of discussion. Following the disappointment of the UEFA Champions League exit, Barcelona will focus their attention back on La Liga as they gear up to face Valencia away at the Mestalla this weekend. And leading up to the game, Javi Miguel of Dario AS is reporting that the Blaugrana are unlikely to recover forward Memphis Depay in time for the trip to Valencia on Saturday. Depay had hardly been a key player for Barcelona this season. Indeed, the Dutchman had played just 3 matches across all competitions and scored 1 goal before picking up a hamstring injury while on international duty with the Netherlands. It had been reported that Memphis Depay could be sidelined for close to a month, but it has been slightly longer than that at this point. However, there is no update on when the striker will be back in action. While he might not be involved in action currently, that has not stopped Depay from making the news. The Dutchman's future is once again up for debate, with reports suggesting that Barcelona are considering sanctioning his exit after the World Cup to make room for January arrivals. As for injuries, apart from Memphis Depay, Barca will also be without Andres Christensen, who is unlikely to recover in time for Saturday's game, even though Xavi had hoped to make him back for the trip to Valencia. Ronald Araujo and Sergio Roberto, meanwhile, are long-term absentees and will not be playing for Barca again until the World Cup is over. Of course, we have some injuries, very important injuries that we hope they come back as soon as possible because there are still some tough games ahead. We have about 4 games left before the World Cup kicks off. Of course, Araujo being the most important player that we're missing right now and will come back likely only after the World Cup is over. Memphis Depay, according to this report, it was widely expected that Depay could have surely traveled with Barca to Valencia in La Liga this coming weekend, but that is unlikely to be the case as the striker is reportedly out for a longer time. We hope that he recovers faster because I think Memphis Depay is a good player and we need him to be a backup for Lewandowski. So guys, with that we have come to an end of this episode. Thanks a lot for watching. Until next time, bye bye.